Good morning and welcome to the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce Chamber Vibes podcast. My name is Kayla Waller and I'm the Director of Marketing and Events for the Chamber. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming up in the next several weeks and months. One of the most exciting things during the month of August is our Knowledge at Noon series. These are going to be a lunch and learn type series where we have speakers come in and they're going to talk to us about different topics. So this Thursday, August 11th, we're going to have Tracy Pato from Clarksville, Georgia, come up, and she's going to talk to us about not only surviving but thriving in a difficult work environment. Next Thursday, August 18th, we have Amanda Stanley coming, and she is going to talk to us about making meaningful meetings. It's a backdoor to burnout prevention, and she is recommending that you bring a copy of your recent meeting minutes, and you'll have a chance to kind of audit those minutes and see if there's anything that you could rethink or rework in your meeting minutes. Finally, on Thursday, August 25th, we will have Tracy Dixon with Lynchburg Daily Bread join us, and she's going to talk to us about some strategies for nonprofit organizations as they're coming out of a challenging period. If you're interested in any of those, you can feel free to visit our website for the full information. It's $10 to attend, and that does include lunch. And you can register on our website or by calling our office. It's 540-586-9401. We also have several ribbon cuttings coming up in the next several weeks. So if you are interested in attending a ribbon cutting and supporting a small business in the Bedford area, please visit our website and see all of those ribbon cuttings listed out. Our annual gala is coming up on Thursday, September 8th. All of the nominees for our Excellence in Business Awards have been submitted, and they're currently going through the selection process. We'll be announcing the winners of those awards during our annual gala. We will also have dinner and a silent auction, and it's just going to be a really fun night. So if you'd like to join us at our annual gala, you can visit our website and get your tickets, and I'd recommend doing that as quickly as you can. We are running low on seats, and we want to make sure we get everyone there who wants to be there. In addition to those events, we have a couple of networking events coming up throughout the rest of the year. We're going to be visiting Electrico Arts on Tuesday, September 13th for an Elan Before 9, and we are also going to be going to Magnolia Mountain Realty on Thursday, October 27th for a Live at 5. Our last signature event of the year is going to be our annual Christmas market. This year it's going to be on Saturday, November 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at CVCC in Bedford. We do have our vendor spaces available now, so if you would like to register for a booth, please visit our website and go ahead and claim your space. If you have any questions about any events or anything going on with the Chamber, please feel free to visit our website or give us a call, and we would be more than happy to help you out. So this morning I have a really special guest with us. This is Denny Hoft. He's the Executive Director of the Bedford Community Health Foundation. And so good morning, Denny. How are you doing?
Good morning. Doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course, we're glad to have you. So, Denny has more than 25 years of nonprofit experience. He was born in Lynchburg, and he's a graduate of Lynchburg College. And he has super close ties with the Bedford area, the Bedford community. I'm sure if you are in this area, you know of Denny if you don't know him personally. So, Denny, would you mind telling us a little bit about your background and what you do and how you got involved with it?
Sure. Been in nonprofits, as you said, for a long time, pretty much my entire career. So coming out of college, was actually going to be a teacher. Went into teaching and got a little disenchanted with that profession, but still wanted to be in a helping environment. And so I went into human services. So I've been in human services for 20 plus years before coming to the foundation, working with local, state, and federal programs around workforce investment, around Department of Social Service programs, things like that. So I have a pretty rich and diverse background in nonprofits.
Yeah, that is awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about the Bedford Community Health Foundation and like what you guys do
Sure.
as part of that foundation?
Yeah, Bedford Community Health Foundation has been in the Bedford community since 1985, I believe it is. And so during that time, the foundation has put over $6 million back into the community. And so, what we do, we really look at community health issues, right? What is it that makes a community healthy? It's not always um, what we think of in terms of traditional health, band aids, sickness, illness, but we look at things like transportation, education, access to resources. When we think about poverty, we think about poverty in terms of the extent to which an individual or a community or an institution does without resources, right?
Hmm.
So it's not all economics. So the foundation takes a broad view of health and community health. We provide grants to nonprofit organizations that serve Bedford residents in some sort of direct health way. We also provide scholarships to Bedford residents who are seeking to further their education or start their education in a health related field. And we've done tons of those throughout the years, and many of those folks come back here to Bedford and are working through Centra or another health giving organization. And so we're really proud that we're able to help get people educated and bring them back to our community.
Yeah, and that's so awesome. So if there's someone who's interested in those scholarships or a nonprofit organization who's looking for resources, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Absolutely. Our website is healthybedford.org, and you can find all the information about grants and scholarships there. You're welcome to call our office at 540-586-5292 and talk to either myself or Kim Dooley, our program officer, and we'll lead you in the right direction, set up some meetings, have some conversations. We like to do that, especially with first time grantees, just so they have an idea of the types of grants that we fund, the types of activities we're looking for, and also just to make sure that this is an organization that is a good fit in Bedford and is providing a good service to Bedford citizens.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we were talking about what we wanted to talk about on this podcast, you mentioned the Bedford Area Resource Council or BARC.
Yes.
So, will you tell us a little bit about what that council is and what types of things that they do?
Sure. The Bedford Area Resource Council is a wonderful group of people that get together, the nonprofits that serve Bedford. At our meeting, the meetings are held the fourth Friday of every month at 8:30 in the morning. If you're interested in joining some of those, you can give me a call as well. Um, but we also, it was born out of a reentry council. And so there were some gentlemen and ladies there that decided that, you know what, we're meeting, we could make this a much bigger community meeting, make it more impactful for our community. So they started the Bedford Area Resource Council. And so from that point, what we started doing is really looking at what impact could we make as a group of individuals, of agencies coming together. And so we started working with Centra's community health needs assessment. The hospital is required every 3 years to do a community health needs assessment. BARC has partnered with them in a number of ways to help get the survey out, to review the data. And then what we look at is prioritizing that data amongst our group in BARC. And so what we've done with that, what we've done with that is out of that, we prioritize the needs that are identified through the BARC. And then we're putting together committees, community committees together to start addressing those issues. And so we have a number of committees, standing committees now, that are working on many of those issues. And some of it is visible, very visible to the community, like the Otter Bus.
Hmm.
For those of you that aren't familiar, the Otter Bus is a public transportation system. It's a partnership between the Health Foundation and the town. We run a bus from from 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And there are 14 stops along the loop here in Bedford. And the idea is to make sure that folks have access to all of the resources. So among those stops are everything, obviously, from the Walmart area. That's a huge area, food line. But we also wanted to make sure that we're getting to places like Horizon Behavioral Health Care. We're getting to Johnson's Health Center, the county admin building and the town admin building, post office. We only have one laundromat here in town, so we wanted to make sure that folks could get to that. So we saw transportation as an issue and built a system around that issue very thoughtfully. Um, and we're looking to expand that in the near future as well. So there are a number of committees that are working on a number of issues here in Bedford County.
Right. So the latest community health needs assessment, what were some things that you all found that you'd like to work on?
Sure, we now have an aging and elder care committee. We know that Bedford is an aging community. A lot of retirees come here, whether you're living at the lake or you're living in Big Island, Thaxton, Huddleston, we're such a large rural county. A lot of times when we have an aging population in rural counties, their access to resources becomes limited as their ability to travel becomes limited.
Mhm.
So that's one we really are paying attention to. Another is housing. We know that there is a housing shortage, not just here in Bedford in terms of affordable housing, but really across the country. So there's a group of folks looking at strategies to bring in affordable housing, and that includes local government as well as nonprofits looking at what the options are there. We also have a child care group. The child care action group, obviously, anyone with young kids knows how expensive child care is. And finding affordable child care is very, very difficult. Number one, we don't have enough providers. Number two, the cost can sometimes push people out of their ability to get childcare
Mhm.
for their children. So it makes working more difficult. If I can't have childcare, then I can't get to work, and if I can't get to work, I can't increase our family's income and so forth. So, childcare is really a huge issue. It's also an issue for the employer. If they don't have employees that have stable health care, then I mean stable childcare. Excuse me. If they don't have employees with stable childcare, then their employees are more likely to be out. They're having to deal with um, making sure that their kids are safe or in
Mhm.
a good environment. So that's really important to employers as well as employees there. We have a Healthy Foods Action Group. Here in Bedford, we're very fortunate. The rural nature of the county allows for so much of the natural produce that's grown in this area to make its way to our tables. The problem is not everyone has equal access to that.
Mhm.
And so the food committee is looking at how can we make sure that people have access to food, not just any food, but healthy food as well. So
Right.
we want to make sure that folks know where to go. We want to make sure that we're building a food system here in the county of Bedford that is reliable and that feeds everyone. Uh, excuse me, the last group that we have is our mental health and substance use group, and they call themselves Minds Together. And they're a very active group. They've done wonderful things there as well. Drug court was sort of born out of that group. And drug court, for those that don't know, is an alternative to putting folks in jail if they are a drug offender. They may be sentenced to go to treatment and counseling and those kinds of things rather than jail, which helps keep a family whole, for one. This person may work and may be able to keep their job, keep the children in the home, all kinds of things of making sure that we're maintaining the family at the same time as giving the person that needs the help that they need rather than incarcerate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those are really awesome things. And if someone wants to be part of Bark and they are not currently part of it, are they able to work with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. We take all comers, as it were. Anyone that wants to contribute to the betterment of Bedford, we're happy to have. We're happy to find a committee for them to sit on. Again, the Bedford Area Resource Council meets the fourth Friday of every month at 8:30 in the morning. The location during the pandemic has changed. A lot of
Mhm.
it has been virtual. We've held some at Bedrock Community Church. We've held some at the library. So the location tends to change. But if you want to reach out to Bedford Area Resource Council, you can find their website as well, or just contact us at the Health Foundation. We'll be happy to guide you towards the Bedford Area Resource Council.
All right, that sounds great. And you mentioned a little bit about the Otter bus
Yes.
and, just the big impact that it has had on our community. Could you tell us a little bit about the backstory of how the
Sure.
Otter bus came to be and how many people you're able to serve?
Sure. Sure. Pre-pandemic is when we really started the transportation initiative from the 2018 Community Health Needs Assessment, actually. And so I noticed that, or had some conversations with Bedford County Parks and Rec and Stuart Saunders there, and realized that they had a 21 passenger or 20 passenger bus van that they used for senior trips for the senior population here in Bedford County, and realized that most of the time that bus sits. And we knew that transportation was an issue, and we wanted to sort of make sure that we targeted this. So we looked at our subsidized housing areas here in Bedford, John Early, Raintree, Salem Court, which houses some of our senior and disabled population as well. And we wanted to make sure that those folks had access to transportation. So we did a few focus groups. I met with residents at all of those places and talked to them about what their transportation needs were and how we could help. And then once I had that information, got with Stuart and Wyatt Woody at Parks and Rec, and could not have had better partners. Two wonderful guys. The whole department is fantastic. They were more than willing to step in and step up. They provided the bus. We wanted to hire a bus driver because it's an economic development issue as well. It's not just a volunteer kind of a thing. We didn't want to volunteer. We purposely went after a paid employee. And so we hired a bus driver from Bedford County Public Schools, which increased their hours,
Right.
which was also helpful for them. But they ran that route every Friday from a couple of times a day for just those folks. And some of the stories we got back out of that were fantastic. It did exactly what we intended it to do. Number one, we got people to the resources they needed. Number two, it made them feel like they were connected back to the community,
Mhm.
where there were a couple of comments that certainly where people felt disconnected, and the bus helped them get reconnected. One story in particular was a lady who had retired from Rubbertech, and she started going to Walmart, and she saw one of her old friends at Walmart that she used to work with at Rubbertex, and they hadn't spoken in a number of years.
Mhm.
And so as she relayed the story to me, her smile gets on her face, and you could just see the joy that it brought to her. And so they decided that on those Fridays that the bus was running, that they would start meeting at McDonald's. And so they would meet at McDonald's and have coffee and breakfast and catch up. And so for her, that was amazing, because now she was reconnected to someone that she had had a connection with earlier in her life. She felt more connected to the community and getting back there. So that was one of the reasons that we wanted to do this, and make sure, because everyone deserves to feel connected to their community because they are a part of. Had another lady tell us that the bus was a godsend to her, because she got to go to um, Walmart or the grocery store once per month when her daughter could visit her from out of town. So this opened up a whole new world for her. She didn't have to buy all of her groceries for the month all at one
Mhm.
time. She was able to go whenever she needed to. Well, each week if she wanted to, she could go. So, stories like that make things like the Otter bus worthwhile. So then, of course, the pandemic hits, right? And once the pandemic hits, everything shuts down. So all of those folks that had gotten used to riding the bus um, were now without transportation. So we made sure that other resources were getting to them, and that they were aware of other resources um, to see them through. And so as the pandemic started to lift, I'd been having conversations with some folks, with some transportation providers, about expanding our route, getting our own bus, and creating a loop here in Bedford. Bedford is set up perfectly for a loop. Everything is sort of on this Main Street
Mhm.
loop around Longwood, the Walmart, Food Lion, the Y. So we're making sure that we hit everything. And so we contracted with a transportation group out of Vinton, and they come here. They provide the bus drivers and the insurance and the bus and everything else. So it's sort of a total package for us. we built the loop, identified where the stops were going to be with the town, and the town was very helpful in that. When I approached the town with this idea, they were very excited about it and wanted to know more about it and how they could help and be involved. And both Mary Zirkle and Bart Warner were wonderful partners in this, and um, as well as Public Works, they D.W. Lawhorn and his crew that went out and put up the signs for us and talked to us about where the best place would be and so forth. You know, given VDOT rules and regulations, you learn a lot about what's required
Mhm.
when you start something like this, right? So we learned what was going on there and decided, this is something that the town needs, the town wants, and so we implemented that. Since then, and we started back in September of last year with the 3 days a week, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday from 10 until 4. And we've watched it grow ever since. Um, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I can tell you that we're moving week to week 300, 400 people a week so far, and that has been growing.
Mhm.
And we're continuing to see that to grow. The stories continue to come to us. I had one lady mention to one of the bus drivers that this has opened up a whole new world for her brother, who now gets out of the house. He never had transportation, has some other needs, and so this opened the bus opened up a whole new world for him where he can get to the Y and he can go to other places. So that was really the impetus for doing this, is making sure that people are connected to resources, and we have wonderful partners and wonderful support.
Yeah, that's so awesome, and I loved how you mentioned, you want to get them places that you don't particularly always think about that they need to go, like the Y, Horizon Behavioral Health, places that you may not originally think that people may need to go.
Absolutely, and that's the key to having a healthy community from the Health Foundation perspective, is the ability to for folks to access the resources they need, regardless of what those resources are.
Mhm.
Um, That includes entertainment, because we all need entertainment. We all, it's shopping. We all deserve to feel like we look nice in our clothes. And so people deserve to be a part of a community if they're living here. And part of the health of the community is making sure that people have access to all of the resources that are available.
Right, absolutely. Well, I just want to thank you for everything that you do for our community and, everything that you do with the foundation and with Bark. It's very much appreciated by the residents of Bedford.
Well, thank you. It is our passion. We love our jobs. We feel like we have the best jobs in Bedford, where we're able to help as many people as possible. So, for anybody that is interested in any different information or more information about the Health Foundation, please do not hesitate to reach out to us.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. And thank you guys for listening. And make sure to tune in next week. We'll have another Chamber Vibes podcast ready for you.